It's summertime, and you know what this means? A lot more NPCs in Undella Town. This one was there before. This one over here, however, was not. And yeah, he's still that same Cynthia Creeper from Black and White 1. In here, as we can see, nothing has changed whatsoever. But we have an NPC here standing in the shadow of this building, complaining about the sunlight, and considering what game we're playing, I could also complain about rain and sandstorm as well. Not hail, though. Hail still sucks as much as it used to. So, over here, we have the marine tube. Is there anyone new in the marine tube? I doubt it. Nope, nothing. Over here we have the Riches Mansion. I think this one, it wasn't here before. Was she before? Well, it doesn't matter either way. I just showed her dialogue just in case. And inside the house, we have absolutely nothing new. But down on the beach, there are a few more NPCs that I'd like to talk to, even though they probably don't say anything that interesting. Undella! I think this guy said, "The sea!" or something in the first one, so I guess the more things change, the more they stay the same. So I guess, yeah, that's about it. That was a lot shorter than I imagined. So before heading back to Undella Bay, I would like to go and fight the final Ferris wheel trainer that we haven't fought yet. So while I do that, I would just like to tell you that this is going to be my last video before I go on my programmed hiatus. So please don't go berserk asking where I've gone, why am I not uploading. It's because after this, I'm pretty much going to be done for a while. I don't know when I'm going to get back to LPing and how frequently I will update, but it's just to let you know that, well, I won't be uploading any more videos for a little while. I will keep uploading my blog, though, so if you want to know my opinions about stuff in X and Y, I suggest you go take a look at it. I'm going to put a link in the movie description. In fact, I uploaded the hell out of it yesterday after what happened. One lucky sap somewhere in Canada, I have no idea where though, but one lucky guy, well, more than one, but one was actually courageous enough to leak some screenshots. We didn't learn all that much interesting stuff. It was mostly stuff that we knew, but nonetheless, even if you want to avoid spoilers, I'm going to give you one little pro tip. And it's that if you like having a lot of team members early on, you better start praying right now that Talonflame turns out to be great, because otherwise, the early Pokédex is full of absolute shit. Talonflame is the only possible saving grace for that segment, so if it sucks, well, it's going to be a starter solo run for most of us, I guess. Well, at least through the early parts of the game. Anyway, we're going on the roller coaster for the final time on camera, so take a good look at it, because we won't get to see that ever again. Oh, I think I remember which one this is. She's talking about how sweaty she is, freaking constantly, and it's... I'll be fine. Check out the scenery. Yes, that is not awkward at all. I guess the writers had a field day with these Ferris wheel rides in both games, because some of the dialogue, man, it's so out of place in a Pokemon game, I'd say. But yes, before the guy's screenshots got taken down, we saw only one competent existing Pokemon from them, aside from the Kanto starters, and that was Scraggy. So I am really looking forward to seeing Smogon's in-game tier list for this, since they seem to love Pokemon that come early so goddamn much. It's going to be hysterical to watch. If you ever wanted to see Pidgeot being top tier at something, there you go. Anyway, I'm not going to say anything more about that matter. Instead, I'm going to head back to Undella Bay to finish off that place. If you want to see my opinion on some of the stuff that we saw yesterday, you can go to my blog. Though, of course, you can't see the pictures anymore, and I didn't save them, nor did anyone else that I'm aware of, because whoever would, I imagine that whoever would have done so would have gotten a phone call from Nintendo's lawyers. Anyway, enough about those leaks. I want to move on to a subject that I intended on talking about for a little while now. It's the fact that, as I said before, I don't play the trading card game. However, there was a piece of news that I found rather interesting, and it involved rule changes for Generation 6. And one of them involves the fact that you cannot use Juniper and Sycamore on the same deck. The reason being that they do the exact same thing. Now, I'm just gonna go off on a tangent here and ask, why the fuck did they do the same thing? You couldn't think of any creative effect to give Sycamore, so you just gave Juniper's effect to Sycamore and just called it a day? And as a result, and from what I understand, Juniper's card is pretty dang good, so with the regular rules, so to speak, you would be able to use 4 Juniper cards and 4 Sycamore cards, meaning that you could effectively have 8 copies of a very, very powerful card. So, as a result, they made a rule stating that you couldn't use Juniper and Sycamore on the same deck. Which is kind of weird considering that, well, obviously that rule isn't printed on Juniper's card, and if I'm understanding this correctly, it's not printed on Sycamore's card either, so how are players supposed to know that they're not supposed to be using both in the same deck? I just don't get it. Anyway, we have the Splash Plate right here, which is going to be added to our plate collection. The other one that we got is the Draco Plate. These were the same 2 plates that were given to you by an NPC in Black and White 1. All the others were down in the Abyssal Ruins, which are the exact same thing in this game. They still have the same layout, the same items, everything. So as a result, I am not going to be covering it in this Let's Play since I already showed you everything there is to show in the White 1 Let's Play. So I'm just going to refer you to that if you want to see the Abyssal Ruins. But yeah, as I was saying earlier, no, I'm not going to be teaching at Hydro Pump, especially since I know Surf. Well, to be fair, Hydro Pump is superior to Surf in quite a few situations in competitive play, but this is in-game. Surf's superior accuracy and PP should definitely make it a winner. But yeah, as I was about to say, it's not the first time that 2 cards have the exact same effect. In fact, just sticking to Pokémon Professors for a second, Oak and Elm had the same effect. However, the difference is that they were never usable in tournaments at the same time, so they didn't need to make a rule banning the use of both on the same deck. So yeah, the precedents are there, but that thing that I just said, it leads me to my next point. Namely, the fact that after a while, cards that are too old get banned. Now, I've never really been interested in pursuing the hobby of the trading card game or any trading card game, as a matter of fact, because you need to shell out some substantial dough in order to get cards, especially the good ones, which I assume are a lot more rare. So yeah, I would assume that this is a pretty expensive hobby, all things considered. But then, after a while, the cards that you bought with your own money just aren't usable anymore. They get banned because they're too old, and I guess this is kind of an elaborate ploy to make more money by forcing you to buy the newer cards, which results in more money in Nintendo's pockets. I don't know if there's another legitimate reason why they would ban older cards if there is something that doesn't involve money. That I would love to hear about it. Please tell me in the comments below. And hang on a second. I think that this guy is the last guy on Undella Bay, so I'm just going to swim to the right real quick. Yep, that's all there is to it. So I'm going to fly back to Undella Town and get started on Route 13. Now, there are some strength boulders and cuttable trees on that route, I know that much. But since I'm just going out there for 5 minutes, I don't really care. I'm gonna I'm just gonna cover these when I get back from my hiatus, whenever that is. But anyway, what I was saying is that I think that it's a load of bullshit how, you know, the cards that you paid for with your own money suddenly aren't usable anymore because they're too old. That's just kind of insulting, I guess. And I know it's mostly for tournaments and stuff, so if you don't do these, then you might have house rules that allow the use of older cards. But still, it's kind of insulting because imagine for a second that they did the same shit with the video games, where you couldn't use any Pokemon that learned a move that could only be found in generations 3 and 4, for example. That would mean goodbye to all of the XD special moves, all those move tutors and TMs that didn't come back in Generation 5. Body Slam comes to mind, for instance. And I guess this is sort of a lousy comparison, especially since I don't really care about trading card games anyway. But to me, I don't know, it's just kind of insulting and, well, maybe not insulting in the sense that, haha, you suck, but still, you spend money on that stuff and later it's decreed to be absolutely useless for no adequately explained reason. Oh, and something else that I forgot to mention while I'm on the subject. There is one particular card, which is Pokemon Catcher, I believe, which is another really good card that got nerfed to oblivion because now it's the result of a coin flip. But once again, it's not printed on the card, so how are the players supposed to know that they gotta flip a coin now to see if the effect will take place? And I mean, once again, it's probably mostly for tournament, and tournament-savvy players will know about these rules ahead of time. But still, the fact that rules are changed on the fly, and once again, I'm just going to change leads real quick. I know I'm doing this a lot today, but I just like to have to keep my levels even in case something happens. But, yeah. Well, of course, you can't really have patch notes for trading cards which are physical objects the same way you would software, for example. So, yeah, once again, this is something that that I find to be kind of weird. I don't know if it's common practice, if it happens a lot in the red of the Pokemon trading card game, or trading card games in general. We could be talking about, like, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Magic the Gathering, whatever. I'm no expert, so I don't know if it happens often, but if it does, well, I wouldn't be surprised, but it would be kind of weird to know that what's printed on your card is no longer law. So, this ass trainer here is the lucky guy who's going to be the last trainer that I fight in a Pokemon Let's Play while we're still in Generation 5. So I would just like to wish everyone a happy, how am I gonna put it? I hope you enjoy X and Y. I know for me, these few days before release are some of the longest days of my life. It's not as bad as when Diamond and Pearl came out in North America during my last finals period ever. That was kind of horrible timing, but still, this is feeling pretty dang long, so, and I know the games are going to be worth the wait. They always are. Of course, as I've said before, I'm not going to buy the game at launch, since going in not knowing what works and what doesn't isn't really my idea of fun. At least I know to expect not to pick up a lot of team members early on. But yeah, I hope you have a lot of fun playing the games, discussing them, whatever. Just remember, it's just a game. It's nothing worth throwing everything away for. But with that said, I hope that the games will have been worth the wait for you, for me, for everyone. So with that said, I will see you guys next time for more Let's Play Pokemon White 2, whenever that is.